Technical foul. Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Teed Up. I'm David.
Justin.
As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Hope everyone's doing well. Getting closer and closer to the NBA restart. We're getting more and more footage of practices and what's inside of the bubble. Justin, I don't know. I'm sure you saw a lot of the videos and a lot of the pictures inside of the bubble.
Yes, I did, and I really enjoyed Matisse's I guess it's a vlog that he's making there for every
Mm-hmm.
day inside the bubble. Really looking forward to watching that because I watched the first two episodes and they were really good.
Yeah, it was some good stuff. What did you think of the food? I mean, a lot of players are posting the pictures of the food. What did you think of that?
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, it's not that bad, but again, I'm not a guy making millions of dollars playing basketball, so they're a little spoiled when it comes to that. So I thought it wasn't bad, but like for their standards, it's probably terrible.
Yeah, I agree. And I would be happy with it. I mean, like free
It didn't
food.
look terrible, but it didn't look like it was like something amazing
Yeah,
or anything.
I think it's just because like the players don't have their filet mignon, lobster tail like they do like
Hmm.
all the time. Not
Exactly.
so I don't know. It's a global pandemic.
Exactly.
Some
Like,
people
hey,
don't even have food.
exactly. They
Some
should be
people
grateful.
exactly. Yeah. So we appreciate you tuning in. Before we get into anything, just wanted to apologize on behalf of myself. We didn't really upload a lot last week. We slacked a lot. We apologize.
Hmm.
I apologize. It was more my fault than it was Justin's. It was my fault. Just
How we were
stuff
busy.
happens. Yeah, stuff happens. Life happens.
Work.
Yeah, yeah, work. But it was more on me, and I apologize. Justin didn't really have anything to do with it. It was more my fault, so I apologize for
That's
that.
fine.
But we're gonna make it up to you guys. We're gonna upload 3 episodes this week. This one's gonna be uploaded, and we'll upload 2 more this week. So we'll give you a bonus episode.
Hmm.
Stay tuned for that. Got some more interviews lined up with players. Stay tuned for that. Let's just get into it. The biggest story this week, I think, was the fact that Russell Westbrook, the star guard for the Houston Rockets,
Hmm.
a team that I despise with a burning passion.
Nice shirt here.
Burn
Houston
it.
Rockets.
You better burn that shirt. Russell Westbrook tested positive for coronavirus. He has to quarantine for 14 days. This happened prior to the departure of the Orlando trip to Disneyland or World or whatever it is. I really don't
World.
care. World. I'm
Hmm.
not 8 years old. All right, it's not that big a deal to me. But obviously this has a huge impact on the Rockets. Justin, what are your thoughts? As a closeted Rockets fan, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, so I was trying to think. I saw Harden and Westbrook weren't going, right? You see all the news that they were left behind, and I'm trying to think, well, maybe like something analytically is happening, and they're thinking, let's keep our stars outside the bubble as long as you can keep them out, and then they'll come in right before they have to, since they obviously are in great shape, or at least James Harden is. So that was my first reaction when I saw they weren't going. But now I hear Russ is tested positive for Corona, and that kind of worries me a bit. But I think it is good that it happened this early rather than in the middle of the tournament where it'd be missing key games.
Right.
I think they're both in great shape. At least they've seemed to be working out. So I think Harden's fine. They're not sure if he has it or not. I've seen rumors. There was a unverified account that had tweeted out that he has Corona as well. So I'm not sure, but Russ definitely has it. He should be good enough to be back in time before the games start. So hopefully it's not too big of an impact. But I mean, just James Harden's luck that his second best player goes down once again in a crucial situation here. Seems to always happen to him.
Yeah, definitely. He gets a lot of bad luck, which I absolutely love, because if
Yeah.
there's one thing I love seeing is James Harden choking, and now he
Hmm.
doesn't have Russell Westbrook to help him. Maybe he'll do better because Russ can't play with anybody else, and James Harden can't play with anybody else. They both need the ball in their hands, and personally, I think that they were going to fall apart in the playoffs because of how much of how stat padding they are, how selfish they are. So this could be all for the better for James Harden and the Houston Rockets and Mike Antony. See how I left the
I
D out.
don't. I don't think it's. I don't think it's that like that. I think it's more so just the chemistry issues. I think is the biggest impact it has because obviously they'll be missing. They're going with a small ball lineup, and I'm not sure how it will transition into this game in the bubble. So I think they could use this practice for sure, but without it, we'll see. Could lead to a little rust in these games, and I mean, 3 through 7 in the West is a tight race there. So these 8 games are going to be very crucial for those teams.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting to see. This could really hurt them in the seedings. So it definitely hurts them. That obviously isn't going to have a good impact on them, but I'm not sure it hurts them too much because this did happen early on.
Yeah, I mean, if as much as I give the Rockets a lot of crap, give James Harden a lot of crap, I will say this is if a player, obviously I don't wish anybody to get this virus, but if you had a choice to get the virus any point in time, it would probably be right now, right when they're practicing, right
Now's
when
the
training
time.
camp's kicking up. Now's the perfect time to get the virus. And as much as it sucks to say, it's
Mm-hmm.
true. It's true.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I think, like you said, I agree. These 8 games are crucial. So not having Russell Westbrook, if you looked, they were struggling a lot at the end of the season before the season got suspended.
Mm-hmm.
So now that they don't have Russell Westbrook, are they going to struggle more, do you think? Or do you think that they're going to, maybe do better?
It's tough to tell. I mean, they were so inconsistent. Wow, they were once they got to the trade deadline, they got rid of Capella and they went to the small ball lineup and they were so inconsistent. They were winning games like in LA against the Lakers and they were losing to the Knicks at home. So it's like, do they really stand? And I think these 8 games are going to be crucial to actually see, and this certainly hurts that.
I still think that they need a center more than anything, like a true center. Having PJ Tucker just isn't going to work, in my opinion.
I think it could work. I mean, we saw what about what was it 2016 Golden State Warriors? How'd they win? They didn't really have a center. Half the time, Draymond Green was playing center.
That's different, though.
It's really not that different.
It's different.
And not really. The
Because
small ball lineup can work.
man, I don't know, because you had you had Steph, obviously, who's the greatest shooter of all time. You had
Mm-hmm.
Klay Thompson, obviously. You had Draymond, who did play the center, but he did well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
PJ
think
could do that. You have spot up shooters like Eric Gordon, Robert Covington. You get 2 good ball handlers that can, between James Harden and Russell Westbrook, you can at least match Steph's point totals and assists and rebounds and stuff like that. You can at least match it with them. So I think they could definitely replicate it. I'm not sure it would be as good and as effective, but they could definitely do it.
I'm gonna have to disagree. PJ Tucker isn't a post guy. That's the thing about the Warriors back in 2016, was that Draymond Green was known for playing in the post, known for posting up, backing down defenders, things like that. PJ Tucker isn't. He's more of a wing guy. He's more of a perimeter shooter guy. He's
Well,
not.
yeah, because on the offense, that's their goal. Their goal is to have James Harden or Russell Westbrook with the ball up top, and everyone else goes on the outside and stays on the outside. And basically, James Harden and Russell Westbrook have the ISO there. And if they want to, they can kick it out to a guy for 3, or James Harden or Russell Westbrook will beat them 1-on-1.
But how's
That's
that
kind
going?
of that's the strategy for their offense. That's how it kind of works.
No, on offense, they really won't have any struggles besides James Harden hogging the ball and traveling and stat padding. But other than that, the offense is fine. But what I'm worried about is the defense. Is their defense? When they have to go up against a Nikola Jokic, for example,
Slim
they might.
down Nikola Jokic. I don't know. He may not be the same guy. I
But
wouldn't say he's gonna be that good. He's gonna be smaller there, so PJ Tucker may be able to handle him now.
but let's just say, like Nikola Jokic, like just is the same Nikola Jokic that we know that we've watched this season. I don't think PJ Tucker is going to have a snowball's chance in hell to guard him.
I think he kind of could. I mean, he was able to guard Anthony Davis a bit there. He's able to at least contend, not well, but he's able to at least be enough of a obstacle there for them that they do struggle a bit. And I think Nikola Jokic isn't a guy that really would give them troubles because he is not a guy that's a go-to scorer that's going to drop you 40 points a game. He may score 18 to 22, which is where his averages tend to be, but he'll go 18 to 22, and then it'll give you 12 and 5, 6. So that's more of his stat line. And I don't think that would necessarily kill you. A lot of the game now is transitioned more into the wings and guards. So I see that as more of a strength for the Rockets.
That's true, but obviously, Jokic can do it all. And I'm just saying hypothetically, if he has to go up against Jokic, it's going to be tough, especially when Jokic is guarding you, and he's got that wingspan, and PJ Tucker's down low. He's going to have a tough time guarding
See,
somebody like Nikola Jokic, or
I would disagree. I would say the main guy they'd have to worry about is if they make the finals would be a guy like Giannis or a
Embiid.
Sixers matchup, Sixers match. Like, I don't think anybody in the Western Conference really gives them an issue there, because I think Anthony Davis, we saw when they played him the first time, was kind of shut down by them. Not shut down, but he did struggle against them. And he's the only real guy there that I think that gives them an issue there. I mean, I could see LeBron giving them a little bit of an issue as well, but they have nobody to stop Harden and Westbrook. So it's a tough situation. It's a lot of what ifs, kind of, because we haven't seen this small ball lineup in action a lot. So that's why these 8 games were so important.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I wish we had more than 8 games to actually see like how teams are going to do, because you really don't have an opinion on a team. Like, do you judge it like, let's say that the season started up how it normally is. Do you judge a team in October, early November, based on the first 8 games? No, of course you don't. So it's a whole what if. This is pretty much an entire like new season almost. Because they had 3 months off. They're back at training camp. So you really don't know, and it is. I agree with you. It's a bunch of what ifs. 100%. 100%.
Definitely gonna be some upsets.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's gonna be upset. It's gonna be like, honestly, like it's gonna have like the
March Madness.
It's like a March Madness, the intensity of a March Madness kind of tournament, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. But let us know what you think about the Rockets. Let us know what you think about their head coach Mike D'Antoni, because there's no D in Houston. There's no D when you coach the Lakers either. He's terrible with the defense.
He needs a defensive coordinator when he's coaching.
Absolutely, yeah. Honestly, he needs like a Jim Jim Schwartz in there for you Eagles fans out there. No, maybe not Jim Schwartz, because he's just god awful. But I'm trying to think of a defensive coordinator's name. I don't know. Probably who's the guy that coaches Detroit now? He was the Patriots. Matt Patricia. Yeah, dude, him. If he knows anything about basketball, get him in Houston right now.
They need the defense.
Man. But yeah, let us know what you think down below in the comments. Let us know what you think on Instagram, Twitter. Want to get your guys' thoughts about this. So next we wanted to get to another team in the West that has a player that's out, maybe not of the same caliber, is Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo is out 6 weeks after he broke his thumb or did something with his thumb.
Yeah, he broke it.
Broke his thumb, thank you. In practice. So he's out 6 to 8 weeks, which is terrible. Justin, do you think that this really hurts the Lakers, or do you think it's not that big a deal?
I think it's both. It can be both. It depends on how they handle the situation. Now, Rondo on the court wasn't going to be making that much of an impact. I mean, he wasn't going to be playing much. He hasn't played much to begin with. And in the playoffs, we know LeBron's playing 40-plus minutes every night. So Rondo wasn't going to be getting that many minutes to begin with. But the one thing where he is huge is his veteran playoff leadership. He's a guy that's won and been to the finals. He knows how the playoffs work. And when you're in this situation like this, you need leadership. And outside LeBron, I'm not sure that team has much. I mean, you got a lot of young guys in there with Quinn Cook, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, Anthony Davis. These guys have never gone far before. So his leadership is huge. And Rondo's been a guy that's complained about the bubble already. So if he goes and leaves the bubble here and decides to leave, I think that's a huge loss to their locker room presence and leadership off the court. I think that hurts them a lot, but it doesn't necessarily hurt them on the court, because I think he was only going to be getting 5 minutes a game at most, because LeBron's going to be point guard and he's going to be playing 40-plus minutes every night in the playoffs.
I don't know. I'm going to have to disagree. I think that this actually does hurt the I think it does hurt Rondo, rather it hurts the Lakers, because you're losing, an essential point guard. He plays 20 minutes a game, about 20, 21 minutes a game. So, and he averages about, I think, 7 points, 3 boards, and 5 assists. So you got 7 points off the board. If you're down by 7, that hurts. 7 points might not seem like a lot to you, but that actually hurts them.
Yeah,
So
but he's playing 20 minutes in the regular season. When it gets to the postseason, you really think he's going to be playing 20 minutes in that game? Like LeBron's going to be getting at least 10 more minutes right there based off of just the difference of regular season and postseason play. And then in the higher games, LeBron's going to be playing basically every minute in a game 7 or any game that truly matters. He's going to be getting 45 minutes a night. So how often would Rondo play? Because LeBron really does play point guard.
but still, like you said, he has that veteran presence. And I think if he was able to play, if he was willing and able to play right now and he's healthy, that would be an amazing impact that he would have in the locker room on Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, Quinn Cook, blah, blah, blah. And having him play and kind of, leading the offense would be very good for the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think off the court, it hurts them more than actually on the court. I don't think it really hurts them at all on the court, but off the court, I have to say it does hurt him. Now, does he leave the bubble and go home, or does he stay in the bubble? That's the biggest thing for me. Because if he leaves, that's a huge loss. But if he stays and is still there interacting with them, then I don't think it's that big of a loss.
I think it would be narcissistic of him or selfish for him to leave the bubble. Because like you said,
He already complained about it, though. He was saying, what did he say? He made the Motel. Was he the one that made the Motel 6 comment, I believe? Wasn't he?
I think something like
He
that.
said,
Yeah.
my room looks like a Motel 6, and it clearly did not look like a Motel 6.
A very nice hotel.
Yes.
Bro, like you're living at Disney World.
Like, you call that a Motel 6?
Honestly, like, man, I don't know. But yeah, like, I would agree with that. But I think it would be very selfish of him not to stay there and help those young guys and, give them advice, give them, just guide them to say, hey, we're contenders. I've been a contender before. Here's how you do it. Here's how you achieve an NBA Finals ring.
No, I see. I don't disagree with that, but like personally, I don't think Rondo will stay because he already complained, and he's just. What's the point in staying in the bubble and putting himself through that
If you're not going to
he's
play.
not going to play? Like,
Right.
I get it if you're having a chance to play or something. I just don't see it. I think he leaves the bubble, and that's why I think it's going to be a big loss. But if he doesn't leave, it's not that big of a loss. And I mean, you have the GOAT there, or who you call the GOAT there, so he shouldn't need a backup point guard really to contribute too much. He should be doing it all on his own.
You mean Mr. Fine Wine himself?
Yeah, exactly.
A 6'8" forward from St. Vincent St. Mary High School out of Akron, Ohio. The GOAT, LeBron.
He shouldn't need no backup point
King
guard.
James.
He doesn't need no backup. Anybody could be his backup if he's truly the GOAT.
But that's the thing. Like, who are you going to have?
Who's MJ's backup?
Jesus, I don't know.
Exactly. You don't need a backup.
I wasn't
if you're
born in
that
the
good.
90s.
If you're that good, though, you don't need the backup. That's my point there. So LeBron shouldn't need to worry about his backup point guard going down because he should be playing 40 to 45 minutes every night at least, at the minimum.
That's true, but I just think, maybe LeBron will want to play off ball maybe. So you have to have Rondo. And who are you going to put in at point guard?
But see,
Alex
I
Caruso?
don't think you'd want Rondo really in there as much. I think you'd want Avery Bradley in there, and that's where I think that Avery Bradley loss comes back to bite him because now without Rondo, what happens there? Do they call Avery Bradley up and be like, "Hey, man, we really need you. Will you come back?" And that could be an interesting situation.
But I don't think he'll come back.
I don't think he would either, but like they're at that situation where they could really use like that loss just became even bigger.
I mean, the only thing I would say is maybe sign Nick Young.
I don't think he's that much of a point guard, and he's a defensive liability. I think you already got J.R. Smith, KCP.
That's
you need
true.
more of a ball handler.
And they don't have it. They really don't. I mean, like they have Alex Caruso. I guess Quinn Cook. But then I really wouldn't want to put.
If LeBron is playing 40 to 45 minutes a game, you should be able to survive with Quinn Cook. You should, but
Yeah, but I still think, for the times that LeBron wants to play off ball, he's going to need a point guard, like a reliable point guard, preferably a veteran point guard like Rajon Rondo.
I see where you're coming from. I just disagree. But
Yeah, but let us know what you think. We want to get your thoughts. How much does this hurt? How much does this hurt the Lakers? I think it doesn't. People don't see how much this hurts the Lakers as much as it does, if that makes sense. Like, people don't realize how much it can actually hurt the Lakers.
yeah, agreed.
So that's no thing. All right, so now we're gonna get into our start bench cut segment. Do this every episode for those of you who are new listeners, and if you're a new listener, check out some of our old episodes. Definitely great episodes. We got
Great shows.
interview with former NBA player and current analyst Ryan Hollins. So check some of those out. Start bench cut. Take 3 players. Decide who we're going to start bench and cut, obviously. So we got Luka today. We got Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. The way I got his EuroLeague jersey on. I don't know if you can see that, but
very nice jersey.
Appreciate it. I don't want to flex on anybody here, but I just did. So respect the drip. Luka Doncic, Dallas Mavericks, Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, and Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. So, Justin, out of those 3, who'd you start, bench, and cut?
See, this is a tough one because they're all very good, young, up-and-coming players, right? But they're also different positions, so it's tough for me to actually do this, but I have to cut Jason Tatum if I'm cutting somebody because Jason Tatum is, in my opinion, he doesn't have the elite potential, in my opinion. I see him as more of a better version of Tobias Harris. I think he is a guy that's going to get you 20. He's a guy that's going to get you 25, 7, and 3 at best, kind of that range. I think he's in there. Meanwhile, Trae Young and Luka Doncic, they have superstar potential. Luka can be dropping you 35, 9, and 10. Meanwhile, Trae Young can be doing the exact same thing. He'll be getting 40 and 10 and 4. So, in my opinion, those guys' potential is so much better than Jason Tatum. But I think Jason Tatum's going to be a fantastic player, multi-time All-Star. But I just think their potential is so much higher. And when you just look at the stats, they have better stats than Jason Tatum right now. And you can make an argument that Trae Young's on a worse team, but I think Trae Young is truly the better talent out of them. So I'd have to cut Jason Tatum. So maybe a shocker to most people, but I have to cut him. And this is really tough because I think Luka and Trae Young are going to be the next stars of the NBA. I think they're truly going to be guys that are the face of the NBA. They're going to be top 5 players in the NBA for the foreseeable future here. So I really like them, but I think I'm going to have to start Luka. Luka's the better player. He's taller. He can get rebounds. He's not the shooter that Trae Young is, though. Luka, people say he has a jump shot, but he really doesn't. That jump shot is very inefficient, at least it has been this year. So I'm not sold on the jumper, but at the same time, he is a good defender. He is a good passer, has handles. He can kind of do it all. So I have to start Luka and then bench Trae, although I love Trae Young's game. And I mean, I love it. I honestly think he's the next Steph Curry. So, I mean, I'm very in love with him, but I think Luka has just higher potential just because of how rare his talent is for a guy his size, Just guys his size doesn't do what he does. Like, that's just not normal. So I think that's why I have to give him the edge and start him. If that makes sense.
Man, the way you just disrespected Jason Tatum is astronomically disrespectful. I mean, that's just absolutely disrespectful what you've done. Have you?
I don't think so.
But have you watched the NBA this year? Have you watched the Boston Celtics this year?
Have you watched Jason Tatum outside the last 2 months? Outside the last 2 months, he didn't shoot over 40% from 3-point once, and his field goal percentage was in between 40 and 45% every other month in between before those last 2 months. So Jason Tatum was he was putting up good numbers, but he was inefficient through the first, 6 months of the season. So that's the only criticism I have towards him there. And you can say he's on a better team or whatnot, but I just don't think his potential is as high as these other two guys. These other two guys have superstar, like, face of the NBA potential. Meanwhile, I don't think Jason Tatum has that. I think Jason Tatum has star potential, but he doesn't have superstar potential.
I mean, there's no denying, in my opinion. I 100% agree with Luka Doncic. I think Luka Doncic, you know how, like, when you think of the 2010s, the face of the league was LeBron. 2000s was Kobe. 90s was Jordan. 80s, Bird and Magic, so on and so on. I think that's going to be how it is for Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is going to be the best player of the 2020s. Luka Doncic is going to be the face of the league. He's going to be
better than Zion,
100%,
and
1,000%,
better than Giannis,
1,000%. I mean, just when I watch Luka Doncic, he's just so smooth, and he's only been in the league for 2 years, and he's already a top 5 player. Tremendous.
I'm not sold on that. He's very inefficient. He's on a good team with a good system. I'm not sold on that.
I don't know. That's a whole nother debate about Luka's. Right now, we're just debating about who we would start bench. I'm going to start Luka. And like I said, I'm going to bench Jason Tatum. Look, here's the thing. The leap that Jason Tatum has taken this year is absolutely phenomenal. He upped his points by like 8 points, got his assist numbers up, got his rebounds up. He's just improving, and he's improved more I've seen than, if you remember that draft class, the top 3 guys from that draft class that everyone watched was Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum. And I think Jason Tatum has taken the biggest leap and has had the most growth out of those 3 players. So I'm going to have to take Jason Tatum.
He wasn't in that draft class. He was with Fultz and Lonzo.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but Ben Simmons was a rookie that year. I mean.
Oh, okay.
That rookie class, yeah. That the rookie class that year.
Okay. You mean the year rookie of the year?
Yeah.
You mean when Ben was eligible for rookie of the year?
Yeah, and then everybody watched that year. That second year. Well, how are these guys going to do? And they kind of stayed the same. Yeah. But this year, Ben Simmons improved on his defense. Donovan Mitchell really hasn't improved on anything. He's pretty much the same player that he was in 2018. But Jason Tatum is something different, man. He's something different. And I think he's got – and he's – I haven't really seen that much improvement from Trae Young, maybe a little bit. But how do you know that's not empty stats? He plays for the Atlanta Hawks. They're a dumpster fire.
Jason Tatum really hasn't improved anywhere outside of the fact that he's taking 6 more field goal attempts per game. Outside of that, his percentages have actually decreased from his rookie year. His 3-point shot has decreased as well. They've been statistically decreasing each year. So
he is getting less touches though than he was.
Less touches.
Kemba.
Less touches, dude. He's shooting 18.9 field goal attempts per game. He had 13 last year and 10 the year before that. So he's statistically taking more shots, but his field goal percentage 47.5, 45. 44.5.
Oh yeah, but are we really going to argue too? I don't want to interrupt you, but are we really going to argue over 2%?
But where's the improvement?
His scoring, his passing, his playmaking.
It's not improvement. He's just getting more volume. There's no improvement in his game. It's just more volume.
I think he's just has had such an amazing improvement. He is better when Jason. The Celtics are better when Jason Tatum's on the floor.
I agree with that. I just don't see much improvement when you're looking at the stats. His points per game and the per game stats are going up. I agree with you on that. But his percentages, his efficiency hasn't increased at all. It actually went down from his rookie year.
Well, yes, if you look at his regular per game stats. But if you look at his his per 36 minute stats, they're phenomenal. And he's probably going to be playing about 36, a little bit less than 36 minutes a game in the playoffs because they're going to need him for the playoffs. But, you look, first 2 years was 16.4 points, 18.2 points. Now he's averaging 24.5 per 36 minutes. Now he's averaging 7 rebounds, 7.4 rebounds, almost 7.5 rebounds, 3 assists, a block.
But it's just becoming it's not necessarily him improving, it's just more volume.
Explain.
He's not improving his game, he's just taking more shots. The percentages stay the same. He's taking more shots. He's getting more minutes, therefore his rebounds go up. He's getting more, like, it has nothing to do with him actually like improving. His stats are staying the same in that aspect. They're just bumping up because of volume.
Couldn't you say the same thing about Trae Young? I mean, he's really the only good player on the Hawks. I mean, John Collins was out, but he was taking PEDs.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Trae Young didn't have any help because he couldn't really do anything else. He never had anybody. John Collins was out. Clint Capella was hurt. He just never had the chance to. So you can't really fault him on anything this year. I just think his potential is higher. That's the only reason I put him ahead of him.
I would take Jason Tatum just because he can do more. To me, Trae Young's only a scorer, but Jason Tatum can defend. He can play make. He can shoot. He can pass. He's athletic. He can drive in.
Trae Young is certainly a better passer than him and better ball handler for sure.
Yeah, but that's it. He's like a Kyrie. He's like a little bit worse than Kyrie. He's like a Kyrie Irving, but worse.
I'd compare him more towards a Steph Curry than a Kyrie Irving.
I would say he plays like Kyrie Irving. Man,
I don't see any comparison to Kyrie at all in his game.
The ball handling, the shooting, the flashy
Kyrie's not a
passes.
Sharpshooter. Trae Young, no, it would be much more similar to Steph Curry than Kyrie for sure.
Man, I'd maybe say if you want to go old school, Steve Nash. I kind of see a little bit of Steve Nash in his game.
The 3-point shot is a little. It's different because it's a different game back then. That's the only thing. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Steve Nash was not shooting as many threes as Trae Young is. That's the difference there. So it's a different game. That's the only thing that it's hard to compare players from different eras like that because the game has evolved so much.
Right, but here the whole thing that I have a problem with. I'm not knocking Trae Young. I think he's a great player. I think he's an amazing player, amazing shooter, super fun to watch. The only thing is, I just think that they're empty stat. Is he a good player? Absolutely. And this is the same problem I have with Devin Booker, for example. I want to see them on a team that can actually do something and can actually go on a playoff run or a title run. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but a team that can actually go toe to toe with some of the best teams in the league.
So I think you'll see that next year with the Hawks for sure. And just looking at it when Collins played this year, that Hawks team was over 500. So it's not like that wasn't the issue. Like, I just think it was an unfortunate situation. It's not like you can say it was Trae Young's fault. It had to do with his teammates not being there. They were injured and suspended. So I don't think you can blame Trae Young for that. More so just unfortunate luck. Meanwhile, Devin Booker, you can blame Devin Booker because he's been in there for a while. He's had guys in there. DeAndre Ayton's in his second year now, so he's had him there for a while. They just have more. They got Kelly Oubre Jr., Ricky Rubio. They just have more. They have more pieces. Yeah, they have more pieces there, and they weren't able to succeed. So I understand the comparison because it's two bad teams this year. But at the same time, Trae Young is in a different situation because that team did perform well when the players were there. But when they weren't there, they really struggled. That's the only difference.
And that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But let us know who you think you should start bench and cut. Man, I feel bad for Devin Booker, really, like I do. I wish he would get the hell out of Phoenix because Phoenix, it's not Devin Booker's fault. I know this is kind of off topic, but it's not Devin Booker's fault. I think it's the ownership's fault, and they just haven't helped him. And I think he needs to demand a trade, not request a trade, demand. Put your foot down, Devin.
I don't think he necessarily needs to demand a trade. I mean, we kind of talked about this in our last episode. I mean, I don't think he needs to demand it. I think he just needs to give it one more year and then worst case scenario, then request it. But I'd give it one more year.
Absolutely. We briefly discussed Ben Simmons a little bit ago. But we're going to get more into that because Justin, this is insane. To me, this is like really shocking. The series as a Sixers fan, I'm sure it is for you as a Sixers fan.
Yes, it is.
Brett Brown said he's been putting Ben Simmons, a point guard, at power forward in practice.
Yeah. We saw that towards the end of the year there. Ben Simmons, before he got hurt, he was playing a little power forward with the off ball a little bit with Shake
So
Milton.
yeah. So my question to you is, do you like Ben Simmons better at the point guard position or the power forward position?
It's tough. I haven't seen enough of them there. I mean, put it this way, if I'm creating a Sixers starting lineup right now, it would have Ben at the point guard. I wouldn't put him at the four. I'd put him at the point guard because I think Tobias is a true four. So I like him at the four. If I'm putting a lineup out there, it would be Ben at the one. Then at the two, I'd either have Jay Rich or Thibault. Three, I would start Furkan. Four, I would have Toby. And five, I would have Embiid. That would be my starting lineup. And then my bench would be Shake at the one. The two bench would be either Thibault or Jay Rich, whoever's not in the starting lineup. Three would be Burks. Four would be Glenn Robinson. And then the five would be Al Horford off the bench. So that would be my kind of 10-man rotation if I was the Sixers. I would put Ben at the point guard position just because it fits better, in my opinion, for the team around him. Now, if Toby's not out there, then maybe you put Ben at the four, and you can try it with maybe a Shake and Jay Rich out there, who are two
Mm-hmm.
other guys that can handle the ball. Then maybe I see it. But if Toby's out there, I think Toby's got to be the guy at the four, and then Ben's got to run the point.
Hmm. So you wouldn't have Sniper Shake starting. You would have Sniper Shake starting. You would have Matisse starting at the two
I like
over
him.
Sniper Shake.
Yeah, I like Shake at the point guard off the bench role because I think him and Horford had a little connection there. I
Okay.
think him off the bench just gives that bench a spark because we don't have any bench scoring in my opinion. We have Burks can kind of shoot and do a little bit, but he's not like a pure scorer. Robinson isn't a pure scorer. I think Shake can be that pure scorer, kind of like a Lou Will off the bench.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I'm not like super passionate about it. I really don't care where Shake Milton goes. I think he's good. He's successful at wherever he gets put in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's funny. A lot of people I think that aren't Sixers fans don't even know who the hell Shake Milton is.
Well, that's the thing. Shake Milton was actually projected to be a end of the lottery mid first round pick till he got hurt at the end of his college career and he plummeted to the late second round where the Sixers snatched him up. He was actually projected to be a very good player until he got hurt and the Sixers snatched him up and he's had to work his way up through the G League now, but he's a very good player and people will know his name by the end of this tournament. I
I hope
guarantee it.
I hope so. And I'm not. I've been saying this since last year. Like he's my favorite Sixer.
Nah,
He's my favorite Sixer
it's hot.
personally. Like he just came from nothing. Came from obviously like you said getting hurt, and then working his up way through the Delaware Bluecoats, who were the G League affiliate of the Sixers, and now he's on a roster spot. Now he's getting significant minutes.
I don't know if you can put him ahead of like a Ben, Joel, and Thibault and guys like that, but like I agree. I like him. He's a good player, so I like him. But I don't think you can put him at like if he's your favorite. I don't know. I don't think he can be a favorite, but like he can be a favorite. But I don't think you can put him ahead of Ben and Joel.
I would. He's my personal favorite like player. Like if I could pick
Yeah,
like
yeah. I mean I get that, but I just don't see like I would go with Ben and Joel. I think they're more representative
I
of
don't
the
know.
team, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I forget. We were talking about something, and I said like my favorite Eagle of all time is Shady McCoy, and you were like, well, why
Hmm.
isn't it Nick Foles?
Yeah, yeah. We
So
did say that.
I like weird players, man. I just like weird.
Yeah,
I just like
you have attachments to him.
yeah. Well, it's like I don't like everyone's gonna say their favorite players Ben and Joe.
Yeah.
I guess this was me being a hipster or whatever, but like you see everyone like in Philly wearing a Simmons or an Embiid jersey. I want to be that one guy that has a Shake Milton jersey or I have a Murray Space jersey, Elton Brand jersey, Kyle Korver. I don't know. I'm just kind of going
Interesting.
off, but the whole
Different
thing that
take.
I want to. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
Not gone.
I actually have a huge problem with Ben Simmons playing the power forward. This franchise does not have any confidence in Ben Simmons playing the point guard position.
I think they do.
Like I don't know why like everyone insists on Ben playing power forward. He's a point guard. He can pass. He can play make. He's a good point guard. He's a
But why
probably
can't he? Why can't he have a Scottie Pippen type role where he's a ball handler, but he plays the four?
Because we drafted
Or
him to
or LeBron James throughout the beginning of his career where he wasn't playing point guard, but he was the main ball handler. Why can't he run a forward ball handler? He's just a guy that can play the 3 or 4, but also bring up the ball.
because that's not what he does, man. We drafted him to be a point guard.
Yeah, but things can change. I don't hate it, but I mean, I agree. I think he's a better fit at the point guard for us. But
Man, it's like like Magic Johnson in high school played center, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but like
probably because he was tall. A lot of tall guys
yeah.
play center, forward in high school, and then they transition as they get older
So,
to point guard or
but
shooting guard.
right. But like let's say that you were the Lakers coach in the 80s. Would you put Magic Johnson in center?
No.
No, he's the greatest point guard of all time. So of course you would put him at point guard. That's Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' sweet position is point guard, and he should stay at point guard. We have a power forward. That's Tobias Harris. So just keep Ben at point guard, Brett.
I don't know. I mean, I think if I had to compare someone to him, he's kind of like a Giannis when he entered, but with better ball handling, and he's kind of like a young LeBron where he's not as dominant with the scoring, but he has all those traits. And LeBron didn't play point guard early on in his career. Giannis doesn't play true point guard. So I think it's not limited to it. I think it gives us more options. That way we can have more ball handlers out on the floor. Like I think it just gives them an extra weapon to have out there. Because he can guard the 4 for sure. He's big enough to, and Shake's a good defender. He can bring up the ball. Meanwhile, it just helps you outspace the floor more because it gives you an extra shooter out there. And you can still have Toby out there at the 3 too if you want to. So I think it's a good all around just extra threat that we have now.
I think I would do it if we had a reliable point guard that could start. You know what I mean?
I think Shake Milton could be. Like, he's not great, but I think he could be reliable enough.
I mean, he started at the 2, and he's done a pretty decent job doing that.
He was starting at the 1 because remember Ben got hurt.
Yeah. You're right.
And Shake was the number 1.
You're right, man. But like for example, let's say we still have Markelle Fultz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you started at if you did like Markelle, anybody at the 2, Tobias at the 3, Ben at the 4, Embiid at the 5, I wouldn't be angry at that.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that.
Man.
I understand where you're coming from.
Man. I feel like we should just do a 76ers podcast. Like have this one, but just have just specifically talk about the 76ers.
That'd be fun.
That'd be cool. Maybe we should do that. Or you could check out our good friends over at Processed with Daryl Reynolds. If you haven't seen our episode with Daryl Reynolds, check that out. Tell some amazing stories about Nova, his time at Villanova, winning the 2016 chip. Sixers Summer League player, and just a cool guy. Has an amazing 76ers podcast for those of you that are 76ers fans. We'll put definitely go check it out. So yeah, let us know what you think about this whole Ben Simmons situation, especially if you're a Sixers fan. I love talking to different Sixers fans. Justin, I'm sure you do too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Some of them are stupid.
Oh yeah, that's every fan base.
Yeah,
every fan base has those idiot fans.
Absolutely, some Eagles fans are stupid.
It's every team. That's why people say like, oh, that franchise has the worst fans and stuff. No, every franchise has bad fans, and there's smart fans for everyone. You just got to find the right ones.
100%. Like honestly, I would much rather be friends with a fan who like an Eagles fan that beats up Cowboy fans and stuff like that than be friends with somebody who prefers Foles over Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Wentz guy.
I see that, but
I'm a Wentz guy.
See, I understand why. Like, I understand the argument. Like, if you could have traded this is off topic, but if you could have traded Wentz for like a king's ransom, like I'm talking like 3-4 first round picks and two like young starters. It was tempting. I'm not saying it was the right move, but it was tempting.
I don't know. Man, I mean, like I'm not a I am a football guy, but I don't go in depth to it as much as my boy Justin and my boy Jake do on their podcast. It's all about sport, all sports, boiled up podcast. Check it out. They've interviewed NFL players, Stephon Logan.
Mm-hmm.
They go super in depth. It's not safe for work. We try to keep this one PG.
Yes.
But Boiled Up is like NC-17. The
Yeah.
rating that's like above rated R. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's what that is. Definitely go check it out. We'll put a link in the description for that. But now we're just gonna keep it NBA. All right, we're gonna keep it NBA from now on. We want to talk about this whole Jamal Crawford situation now with the Nets. Obviously the Nets suffered a huge blow, not having KD and Kyrie. Then Spencer Dinwiddie isn't playing. Then you have DeAndre Jordan isn't playing. Am I missing anybody else? I'm sure I am.
Wilson
Chandler. I mean, that's not really that big of. I mean, let's be honest
but
here.
it's a body. It's a body.
It's a roster spot.
They're desperately in need of. So.
So they went out and signed Jamal Crawford. Personally, I think Justin Jamal Crawford never should have left the league. Like he should always have a roster spot. He's amazing.
I see. Jamal Crawford won't have an impact on the Nets because what he does best isn't needed. He's a guy that you can give the ball to late in the game and he will get you a bucket. The Nets aren't going to be in a position late in the game that they need a bucket. They're going to be down 30 points. So what's the point? I mean, the only benefit that comes from this is Jamal Crawford gets to play as many minutes as he wants, score as many points as he wants. So hopefully he will have a spot in the NBA next year. That's really all it is. It's basically just a trial for him to ball out and score as many points as he wants. That way he can be on a team next year. That's really the only thing it has, the impact it has, because the Nets still aren't winning any games just because they signed Jamal Crawford. That's not changing.
Yeah, you're right. Even if Jamal Crawford had a supporting cast, I mean, he doesn't really have a supporting cast.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
If they had KD, Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie, DeAndre Jordan, Wilson, if they had all those guys and now they just added Jamal Crawford, that's a whole different story.
The Nets I think the Nets could go toe-to-toe with – if that's the case, if they were all healthy, I think they would go toe-to-toe with the Sixers, or it might even be better than the Sixers if we're talking like the KD that you and I both know.
Yeah, it's a tough situation because we don't know what that KD is or what that Kyrie will be like. So it's a tough like what if situation, but yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but I agree.
They'd be as talented as them at least. Yeah. They'd have the talent level to match.
But I 100% agree with you about Jamal Crawford's impact on the Nets. I don't think signing Jamal Crawford to Brooklyn is just bam, the Nets are back in contention. I don't think so. I think this is just I think it's awesome that Jamal Crawford has a roster spot now because he should have never been out of the league, in my opinion. The only player I want to see get a roster spot now is Nick Young. I want to see him get a roster spot more than anybody right now.
I mean, at this point, somebody should sign him just so he's there. But I mean,
Brooklyn.
Again, same thing as Jamal Crawford. He's not a guy that's really gonna have a true impact unless he signs with an elite contender. So again, he'd just be playing to make a team in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like if a team that needs a shooter, like I'm trying to think of a team that could use a shooter. The Sixers could use a shooter.
Sixers, Bucks.
The Bucks, Bucks could always use shooters. Celtics, the Lakers could use a shooter. They could use another body to hit some shots. And that's what Nick Young does best is threes. So, yeah, somebody sign Nick Young. Sixers. If the Sixers get Nick Young, I'm gonna freak out. That's gonna be awesome.
I don't think that happens.
So let us know what you think. Let us know what you think. Definitely follow us on Instagram, Twitter, DM us. Let us know what you think. All right.
Yeah.
So that's gonna wrap up this episode. Definitely talked about a lot of good news this week. Man.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and like we said,
closer to the NBA action.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you watch Teed Up every week, twice a week, that means you get closer to the NBA's return, right?
Exactly.
We make your time go faster here.
Exactly.
Here at Teed Up with Justin and David. All right, but thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for 2 more episodes this week. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Put the link in the description for that. Support the show on Patreon. And we're out. Thank you.